Now, Hunter Biden is in a trial right now. It's 3 felony charges. He's in a world of pain. How do you think it's going?
He's going down, and he's going down hard. His best chance is that he's being tried in front of a Delaware jury. I mean, he's in federal court, but it's still Delawareans, and they love the Bidens in Delaware. And Jill Biden is sitting front and center in the courtroom. And so, she's beloved by pretty much everyone. And there she's telegraphing. This is a loving family. Everyone's had a drug problem in their family. This is a disease that's affected everyone. And really, it's just poor, helpless Hunter. But the reality is they have him dead to rights on the actual charges. There's no question that he filled out the form falsely and that he had a gun that he was not authorized to have. He's going to argue possession. Did he really have it? Or was it really just under the control of his dead brother's widow who he was having an affair with? Okay. None of that's going to work unless we just have jury nullification, and the jury nullification is when the jury knows they're supposed to find one way and they just won't. They just say, I'm not finding him guilty. I don't care. I don't care what this verdict form tells me I have to do, because really his defense so far seems to be on the possession charge. I really didn't ever hold it that much. Really, it's kind of the Hallie Biden, not me. How did it get magically from the gun store to your house? Why are you pictured with it in your waistband in all your weird drug photos? But okay, let's give him that one. How is he going to get out of the fact that he lied on the application form by saying he wasn't an active user and he wasn't an addict? Now, he might say, he's been arguing an opening statement, that he wasn't using at that moment. So he wasn't sniffing cocaine as he was filling out Hunter Biden on the form. And that he thought, I guess he was, somehow sober because he'd recently been to rehab. But his book contradicts all of those claims. His book makes very clear he was in active addiction before, during, and after the application. So his best hope, again, is jury nullification. And if I were Hunter, I'd have Jill Biden sitting in the front row, too.
Now, one of the things that I've mentioned a couple of times, but people just don't think is true, can you please confirm to us that Hunter Biden, after his brother died, ended up hooking up with his dead brother's wife?
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So it's just when you thought Hunter Biden couldn't get any creepier. When Beau Biden, I think, was easily the best Biden. It's very sad that he died at a young age. I actually think he would have had a great future in Democratic politics. And as far as I can tell, he wasn't a dirtbag like the brother. He was the Attorney General of the state of Delaware, and he had a bright future ahead of him. And I think the old man, Joe, had put most of the family's lock, stock, and trade into the first son, Beau. But tragically, he died. He did serve in Iraq, and Joe Biden says he was exposed to the chemical burn pits there, which caused a brain tumor. He did not die in Iraq, but he died supposedly. I haven't seen the reports on this myself, but from that experience. But in her grief, Hallie Biden, Beau's widow, I think was taken advantage of by Hunter Biden, who without question, I'm sure, was grieving the loss of his brother. But who expresses that grief by going over and stooping the grieving widow of your dead brother? I mean, especially because, I don't know, I kind of give her a pass because she's so grief-stricken. This is probably the closest thing she has to Beau Biden. And I'm sure she was, no person in their right mind would sleep with Hunter Biden. So it's obvious she wasn't of right mind. And yet, he was in the midst of his constant ongoing drug thing, and nobody in the family had the good sense to stop him, including Joe Biden. So yeah, that's what happened. Not surprisingly, it didn't work out.
Of course, everything last week was about Trump being found guilty on all counts. Do you think he's actually going to get sent to jail, or they'll find some other way of punishing the former president just a couple of days before the Republican convention?
I've been surprised at the amount of buzz over here amongst legal scholars I really respect that he's likely to. We all know he may. And I thought almost all of us predicted he will not. But more and more, I'm seeing amongst very credible legal and political observers a prediction that he will be sentenced to jail. Now, even those people are saying the odds are it will be a suspended sentence where the first time you get in trouble with the law, maybe they say a year in jail or 2 months in jail or 2 years in jail, but you don't actually have to serve it unless you get in trouble again during that time. And then it kicks right in. You've got to go serve the whole bit. But even just the sentence, like that he would have to go to jail, suspended or not, would be an earthquake. I mean, it would be an absolute earthquake. And I still remain convinced that this judge won't do it. The theory boils down to, yes, while virtually no falsification of business records cases get jail time unless somebody's falsifying records to cover up like a violent felony. So it has to be something bad, really bad, not federal election law violations or whatever the heck the jury came to the conclusion this was on the underlying crime. But the argument is that what he's really been found guilty of is conspiracy to steal an election. And that, I mean, the Democrats think that warrants at least the political death penalty and certainly some time in jail. We've got James Comey, the former FBI director, going on TV saying he can be put in jail. We'll get him a double wide with a double wide trailer and he can sit in the prison yard. So what they're saying is that Trump has to go serve prison time in solitary confinement, which is arguably the worst punishment you can give any prisoner for who knows how long, because he wrote down legal expenses instead of hush money payment. It makes sense, right? Perfect.
But don't Democrats dream of him in the orange jumpsuit, the image of him somehow being alone and crying himself to sleep in a jail cell?
Well, he is a rabid partisan. And I say that not only because he donated $35 to Biden and his Stop the Far Right Conspiracy subgroup. It was a crazy title that he earmarked his money for that showed he really loathes the right. But I say it because he ruled, I mean, overwhelmingly for the prosecution in that trial. It was so biased. Somebody called him a prosecutor in a judge's robe, like the secret prosecutor on the bench. I think that's exactly right. So I make, no excuses for him. He's capable of it. But I also think he's astute and he might be feeling how that would play on the other side as well. That in the same way, the Trump mugshot is now invaluable. It's everywhere. His supporters love it. They're running around with T-shirts and actual coffee mugs and so on. I think the judge realizes what a risk that would be. And if I had to put money on it, because I still, silly me, have some belief in the judicial system, I would say he's going to do what he would do in any other case. And that's why I am one of the people who believes there will not be a jail sentence.